And it's Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio and RallyPoint.com. We're at the U.S. Military Academy. The Army West Point lacrosse team is going to be in the NCAA tournament Saturday against Penn. Have a chance to talk with one of the juniors on the team, and that is Miles Silva. Miles, good to chat with you. Congratulations on winning the Patriot League title last week. Your team really seemed to have a lot of success later in the season and building into the Patriot League. How did that work? Tell us a little bit about your season and then really having success when you got to the Patriot League tournament.
Well, we started off with a pretty tough road schedule with UMass and Syracuse and Rutgers. And we ended up winning UMass in overtime, which was a good type of win to get under our belt. And then we beat Rutgers by a goal, and then eventually lost to Syracuse by a couple up in the Dome. But and then right into the Patriot League regular season is a really tough season to go through. Our coach always talks about it as a season within a season, and we've got a pretty tough conference in around the country, especially with opponents like Navy, Bucknell, Lehigh, Loyola, Colgate, et cetera, and all those teams. There's no easy games, and so we really have to grind a lot out, and I think that really sets us up for being in close situations in certain games, especially having a close game in the Patriot League final with Lehigh, knowing we've been in that situation before. We've been down by a few and come back, or we've won a game in overtime or by a goal. Just kind of having those experiences under our belt and being able to not crumble in those situations, I think really helps us get to where we need to be.
Yeah, it sounds like you had a very high-energy finish to the Lehigh championship game. What were your thoughts playing in that at the end as Lehigh made a big effort at the end to try and tie it up?
Well, Lehigh is one of the toughest teams we play all year. I kind of compare it to a football game more than a lacrosse game because it's just a lot of big guys out there hitting each other and playing through the whistles, and it's not one of those fancy games, I guess you could say. It's more of like a fist fight, it feels like, with them. And so I knew just kind of with the guys that we have on our team and the guys that they have on our team, it was going to be a battle. And luckily we pulled it out at the end, and really the shots started falling, and we just kept staying true to what the coaches were saying and the game plan that we had, and it ended up in our favor. But it was definitely a tough game in the rain down there, and especially with what was at stake. With either if you lose, your season's over, and if you win, you go to the NCAA tournament. I think our guys just kind of rallied around that, and we refused to give up and refused to let that be our last game, and we just wanted more time together.
Miles, if you would tell us a little bit about yourself, why you decided to come up to West Point from Florida, and a little bit about what you study here at West Point.
West Point's kind of been a family thing in my family. I have both my parents went here and were class of '93. My father played lacrosse as well. My mom played volleyball, and then my mother's father, my grandfather, was class of 1969 and was a track runner and played sprint football here. So it was kind of something I grew up always wanting to do and always wanted to serve. And it's just kind of, I guess you could say, in my blood a little bit to come here. And so it was a pretty easy decision for me. This is where I wanted to go since I can remember. And when I had the opportunity to come here and play lacrosse, it was the best opportunity I had, and I was really excited, and that's eventually why I came. Since I've been here, I'm a law major, so there's law and legal studies is my major here with a track and systems engineering, so that's kind of what I study, and we have a pretty tough core curriculum too, so take some science classes, some calculus classes, and different English classes and stuff, so it's been pretty great.
Well, that's great to hear that both of your parents served in the U.S. Army. We see tremendous growth in lacrosse at the high school and college level. The New York Times wrote about it this week. What does it take now to advance, to learn to play lacrosse very competitively so that you have a chance to play lacrosse in college? What were some of the keys for you to make it to play at this level?
Definitely. Well, my father was a huge part of it. Florida's not the biggest hotbed area for lacrosse. It's a football country down there. But just kind of always had a stick in my hand from when I was a little kid. And then luckily I lived in an area where there were a lot of transplants from the Northeast who came down to work in Jacksonville or lived there. So I had a good youth coaching. But the biggest thing I would say is just always working hard outside of practice, just with any other sport. Just kind of the work you put in on the wall, or going out and getting extra shooting, or working out in the gym, just all that kind of stuff. stuff really is going to get you noticed by coaches. And then it is difficult flying up from Florida to play in these major tournaments where the coaches are. But with the growth of the game now, coaches are going down there and they're recruiting incredible athletes. So there's a lot of guys in Division I playing lacrosse now from Florida that I played with in high school, and some guys who are in the national tournament right now. So it's been pretty cool to see just the growth of the game across the country.
Very good. Well, a game Saturday at Franklin Field is a very historic sports arena against a very good Penn team. What are some of the things you're going to be talking to your teammates about as keys to success in that game Saturday?
Just playing tough. I'd like to think of us as a pretty tough team, and always coming out and giving 100% from the first whistle to the last. And I know that the guys are all excited and pumped to play. It's definitely nice to be able to work so hard since the beginning of the school year in the off season and kind of see all these things that we've been dreaming of kind of coming true. And so I think that the guys are pretty motivated for that, and just knowing that if we play our best, it's going to come out in our favor.
Well, very good. Miles Silva from Jacksonville, Florida, junior here at West Point. Both of his parents are veterans of the U.S. Army. Best wishes from everybody at the American Legion and RallyPoint.com. Looks like you had an exciting game coming up on Saturday. Best wishes.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate it.
Absolutely good to chat. This is Ken Kraetzer for Sons of the American Legion Radio and RallyPoint.com at the U.S. Military Academy.